Back to politics. NARC Kenya leader Martha Karua has accused former Prime Minister Raila Odinga of not just betraying the Gen Z movement but also betraying her when he formed the broad-based government with President William Ruto at the height of the Gen Z-led demonstrations. According to Karua, Raila, being the longest-serving opposition leader in the country, was obligated to side with the protesters but instead chose to close ranks with the government of the day. NTV's political affairs reporter David Mudhoka sat down with the NARC Kenya party leader, where she addressed key political events of the last 12 months, as well as what to expect in the run-up to the 2027 presidential contest.
Slightly over 2 years ago, NARC Kenya party leader Martha Karua and former Prime Minister Raila Odinga were inseparable. The two were on a joint presidential ticket that, however, failed to capture power, consequently thrusting them into the opposition. A couple of years later, Karua and Odinga are not seen eye to eye amid accusations of betrayal. And according to the NARC Kenya leader, it all boils down to early August this year, when Odinga openly closed ranks with President William Ruto, who was under siege as a result of weeks of sustained Gen Z-led protests against Ruto's government.
When we declare or we become the opposition or leaders, political leaders, we owe a certain duty to Kenyans. Whether or not we are in the Gen Z movement, and that was the youthful people who did all the work and who died because of this country. Even in the Azimio demonstrations, majority of the dead were still Gen Zs and millennials. As leaders, we have a duty to protect and stand with the people. So it's not only the Gen Zs. I also personally felt betrayed.
According to Karua, by Odinga supporting the formation of the broad-based government, he deliberately opted to abandon Kenyans to join an administration which she terms as the worst to ever rule the country.
It holds the cup for illegal abductions of its own citizens, wanton, reckless execution of its own citizens, abduction of foreign nationals, beginning with the Turkish refugees, bona fide refugees being abducted and returned to their country, abduction of Ethiopians, abduction of citizens. We have a missing Wajir MCA, and reliable reports say he was in police custody, illegal custody at an ungazetted police, holding place at some stage. They must come clean. This is a parent who eats their own children for dinner.
Among foreigners recently abducted within the country's borders is Karua's longtime ally, Uganda opposition leader Kizza Besigye, who was abducted in Nairobi last month and hours later thrown in a military prison in Uganda.
And this is the second abduction involving Kenyan security agencies and Ugandans. Remember in July in Kisumu, at the Ukweli Pastoral Center, 36 Ugandans belonging to Besigye's party were abducted, again by the military. But remember, the military cannot come and mount that operation without being aided and abetted by Kenyan police. And Kenyan security agencies, not necessarily police. And Kenyan security agencies cannot cooperate with Ugandans unless if that cooperation is at the highest level.
Karua's attempt to seek a temporary practicing license to defend Besigye in Uganda was denied early last week by the President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni-led Ugandan government.
My observation, William Ruto is now an apprentice of Yoweri Kaguta Museveni in tactics of repression and violation of the Constitution. We in Kenya must work hard to prevent William Ruto from graduating in this evil academy.
Following Odinga's decision to work with the president while his party ODM is still firmly in the Azimio coalition, Karua has confirmed that her NARC Kenya party has abandoned the ship.
You can see now that the mouthpiece of one William Ruto is mainly Joho and Junet. In fact, the newspapers called them, rightly, the new amplifiers. So there's no way we can be in a coalition that no longer serves the purpose of the people. We need to defend the people, their rights. We need to call the government, the regime, Ruto regime, to account. And you can't do that with one leg in, one leg out.
Karua is now urging ODM to follow suit and let other Azimio parties be.
In fact, as the year concludes, I would call upon my friend and brother Raila Odinga, because even if we differ politically, he's still my brother and friend, to do the honorable thing. Have a post-coalition, a post-election coalition agreement with Ruto so that they are in government, not through the back door, not through a come-we-stay marriage, but through a proper marriage, political marriage solemnized by the registrar of political parties. Right now, what they are doing is being less than candid.
On the impeachment of former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, shortly after Raila joined government, Karua says although she never liked Gachagua, his rights were violated then and are still trampled on to this very date.
I'm not a fan of Gachagua because Gachagua, when he had opportunity, he abused it. He was silent when Uhuru was being raided. He never saw that this would happen to him. But nevertheless, I stand for justice for him, and he never got justice. I stand for him being let to enjoy all the freedoms, including the freedom of association and expression. He's a Kenyan like any other, and rights are not about friendships. He is a Kenyan entitled to rights, reminding Ruto that Uhuru left him free to go around campaigning even though they disagreed. Let him know that Gachagua is equally entitled to the same. To those now in parliament and in government, seeing it as an opportunity to bash Gachagua, I want to remind them of Gachagua when Uhuru was being harassed. He never saw it coming. You are the next. After he is done with Gachagua, it will be you. So stop throwing stones. Know that you are the next. Get serious and identify that your man, William Ruto, has no friend. He's an enemy to all.
The NARC Kenya party leader further revealed that she is serving her last term as the leader of NARC Kenya, adding that in the coming months, she will no longer be at the helm of the party. However, Karua insists she will be on the ballot in the next presidential contest.
Be very clear that I'll vie for presidency, but I don't know who else in NARC Kenya might. But the desire and ability to serve Kenyans is there. The experience is there. The resolve is there. And the ability to confront the destructive William Ruto mundu kumundu is there.
David Muthoka, NTV, Nairobi.